Hey there, welcome back to Marketing Matchmaker. I'm super excited today because I have Angelic Marnier here with me, and we are diving into another strategy session. And I love doing these with people because it just gives, I think, everybody kind of an idea, an inside look into business and how you might be able to pivot small things or big things in your business to make a bigger impact. Angelic is a course creator. She helps people create and launch courses. And we were talking before the podcast, and this year's been a little wonky for her. So we're going to dive into that. So Angelic, tell the audience just who you are, what you do, who you serve, and then we'll start conversation from there.
Let's go. Well, thank you, Jennifer. I'm excited to be on. You're excited to be here. I'm excited to be on. So thanks for having me. I'm Angelic Marnier. I'm located in Los Angeles, and I'm all about helping people monetize their genius. Jennifer, I know you speak to a lot of people, and I do too. A lot of great thought leaders, a lot of great entrepreneurs, authors, coaches, they're sitting on this pot of gold, but when I talk to them, they're not making any money from this pot of gold, this expertise. So what I like to do is help them package that into digital products so that they can have more of a passive revenue. They can continue to do the books that they love to do and do the blog posts and do the coaching, but I also want to show them how to package their expertise into online courses so they can have more of a passive revenue, so that can offset what's going on, get that money coming in, continue to do what you're doing, but monetize all this brilliance that you have. So that's what I help people do day in, day out.
I love that. I love working with course creators in general. It's so, I think DIY courses, there's positive and negatives to them, and it's an easy way for people to start learning and start, learning more. I always look at, they can be your sole revenue source, and they can also be like that introduction into your value ladder of leading people down that path. Yeah. So tell me about this last year. I know before our call you had said that this last year has been just a little wonky, that it's not where you want it to be.
Yeah. So if not the whole year, so not like 365 days, just right. The first, and actually January and February were great. It was March, I took a true dip, like serious dip, and then April kind of rebounded, but then May not so good, then June okay. So it's been, but it's not the numbers. Like I made high projections, based on, I did this last year, so I want to go this way, and then I haven't done that. So it's been kind of like this. Trying to figure out, okay, how do I want to scale, I want to go up. And so that's what we're on here, like with this think tank right now. And maybe some other people can glean from it and learn something from what we kind of converse about today.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole goal. So I know, because I'm on your email list, so I know some of the things that you've been doing are like webinars and trainings and those kind of things.
Yeah.
How have you been growing your email list?
So I grow my email list through a few different ways. So I have a Facebook group, and in order to join the Facebook group, I do ask for an email address. So I've definitely grown. That's probably how I got to my first 1,000 in the very beginning. And now that I do a lot with regards to direct messaging, and setting up actual appointments, when people have to set up their appointment with me in Calendly, they have to provide their email address. So they're pretty much opting in, and I've grown my email list that way as well. With everybody who wants to jump on with me on a strategy session, they do have to provide their email address that way.
So the people that are jumping on with you on a strategy session, how are they finding you?
Typically I do outreach, and I will DM them. And if they're interested in what I'm talking about, a lot of times I'll look at their profile and see like, hey, you're great at your food truck, or you're great at leadership. Had you ever thought about creating a course? And they'll be like, oh, I never thought about that. Start the conversation. I'm like, hey, well, if you want to get some additional information, here's my link. They'll get on the link, and then we're talking from there.
Okay. So your growth in the past year, or in the past at least, has been really organic or manual. And
very organic. Yeah, very organic. I've done some like when I do a challenge or a webinar, I'll run ads, but that's it. And that's only like once a month. So I'm not running ads consistently throughout, the whole month or anything like that.
Okay. All right. When you are running ads, for how long are you running ads for prior to
probably about 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Okay. All right. So that's a decent time frame, but you're not are you doing anything when you're running ads like visibility ads or awareness ads or anything like that to kind of grow your audience?
No, I can't say I am doing that. So I know that I started to think about maybe just spending a little bit of money on boosting some of the stuff I'm doing just to see.
So I wouldn't necessarily suggest boosting. You want to set it up
Okay.
as an actual ad rather than boosting
Oh,
a
okay.
post doesn't reach the audience that setting up an actual ad in Ads Manager will.
Okay.
But you can do that and really spend like $5 a day and reach a
Okay.
really large audience of people and start bringing them in, especially if the videos or whatever social media content that you're posting leads to something else like your Facebook group or some kind of download or something like that. That can really help, really low cost, but help to generate that audience for you, that wider audience base. One of the
That's
things
an
we know
awareness
about
ad, you're saying?
yeah, just awareness ads. Yeah, video. I usually suggest video ads. So whether that's a podcast that, like, if you have a podcast, you kind of put a small clip that introduces the podcast and sends them over to the podcast to listen. That works really well if it's you doing the podcast, not necessarily you being interviewed, because that's sending them to somebody else's podcast.
Okay.
If you have a blog post, or if you're just producing reels or content in general on your social media, you
Yeah.
can use that effectively in those ads. Now, I will say, if your reels have music in the background, take it off.
Okay.
Because Facebook will take down the video if it has any kind of copyrighted music, which about 50 to 60% of it is, and you never know really until you get like hit with Facebook going, no, you can't have this kind of thing. Because you don't know necessarily what's copyrighted and what's free use unless you've really dived into that. So
okay, so the awareness ad would be just a small clip or whatever, one of my regular reels, and then that should take them to, I don't have a podcast, so it would be more like just to my
take them, have them comment in the link below, or have them, ask them a question. You want the engagement is what you're looking for, right? You're looking for people to engage with you and with your brand. Because that's going to then allow you to get them into those DMs. Like if that's your method is to work through the DMs, then that's definitely what you want to do. It also allows you later to retarget people when you do go into the challenges or the launches or whatever those kind of things are. You can retarget all of those people that have watched your videos. If they've watched more than 50% of your videos, they're invested. Even if it's a 2-minute video, 3 to 5 seconds is about when people scroll off. So if they've watched a 2-minute video in today's world, I know it sounds ridiculous. They're invested. Like they're invested in who you are and what you have to say. So retargeting them allows you to have a little bit of a warmer audience. Before you start bringing them into your training, whatever the training is, and then selling them.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep.
So that would be, I think, step 1. Step 2, I think, is because I know you've spent a lot of time, building up this organic, but we get to a point where there's only so many people we can reach that way. And if you really want to scale, it's time to start growing your email list through ads, right? So some kind of download, some kind of quiz, something that's low investment for the people giving you their email address, like low time investment. That'll economically, it's going to be less expensive for them to sign up and give you their email address than for, like, I know for challenges and webinars and those kind of things, they can get $5, $10, $15, $20 per sign up. I don't know what yours have been, but that's industry average, anywhere between $5 and $20 a sign up. But for a download or a quiz, you can get them at dollars to pennies on the dollar, depending on how well you do. Quiz, people love quizzes, like that whole what is the right type of course for you, or is your industry ready for a course, or things along that line, just to give them I personally love quizzes for two reasons. One, it gives your audience the information they need, right? Of whether or not this is a good step for them. And two, it gives you information about your audience.
Okay. Yeah, that's helpful.
So on the other side of it, you can know, is there content that you need to focus on more? Is this person really ready? Like within that quiz, the end of the quiz can be, sign up for a call, or here's some free content if they're not ready to get to that next place within you. So setting up a funnel on the front end and starting to grow your email list a little bit more intentionally, as opposed to organically, I think is a great way. Because then again, when you go to do the launch or the 5-day challenge or a webinar or anything else around that, you have a warm pool to pull from.
Okay, that's brilliant. I love it.
So,
because I've been all organic for the most part. Yeah, my whole career.
Yeah. I think most people do grow their business organically. And I find that there's this like tipping point of where they've grown to a point where they need more people. They need to reach more people and touch more people. And in the course world, it's even more important because there's so many like courses in general. And I know yours is building out courses, but this just goes for in the general. A course in general is somewhere between $500 and usually around that $4,000 mark. But beyond that, it's more like a high ticket. But if you're talking on a regular course, it's like $500 to $5,000. To get people into that, you have to have a lot of people that you're reaching. And I think it goes for all business, really. And there comes a point when you've tapped out your organic reach. And it's time to then start moving into ads. And I think you're in a great position right now because you have the foundation of what's worked in the past, right? Your 5-day challenges have sold your packages in the past. So now it's just getting more people into it. And the best way to do that is to get them warm them up a little bit more, and then over there.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yep. I like it.
Awesome.
Totally makes sense.
All right. So what questions do you have, or what's going on in your brain right now?
I've taken pretty good notes. So it's mainly, how to execute this. So the main thing is for me to, like I said, get some reels that have done well, probably. Because at least I have proof of concept that those have done well. And then, like you said, just work on some $5 a day awareness ads. So that's the main thing, like picking out little clips. Like you said, I had some stuff that I've done, even from the challenge of the webinar. I could probably pull some clips from that.
Absolutely.
So it's not a podcast, but it's my podcast.
Exactly. Repurposing content is a fabulous way to go about doing it.
So that's what I'm thinking. So in my head, I'm like, okay, how do I do this with the shortest amount of time and the least amount of money? So I'm like, okay, I don't have to redo anything. I can just pull from my challenges or from my or anything. I've done lives. I got all kind of stuff. So I can pull some clips from there and I'll do the awareness ads. I just got to figure out what I'm going to take them to.
Depending on what the awareness ads is, what the content is, it can just be a conversation in the messages, like at the end, or within that copy, because you always want copy as well as the video. But within that, you can always say, hey, comment below if you have questions, or comment below your thoughts on whatever the topic is, those kind of things. You can also, there is a way to have them start a conversation with you within ads. So they can start a DM within ads. So you can have them have a button that says, chat now or whatever, and they can start a conversation. So those are the kind of things that you can do within the ads. But first step is really getting more people to know who you are.
Right. So that would be big. And then the next thing is to grow my email list through the ads. So I got to figure out, I don't have any quizzes, so I need to come up with a download or a quiz. And then basically with that, be taking them to like an opt-in page. Is that where I'm gathering?
So you're going to take them to an opt-in page, get their email address, send whatever information you want to them. Now, I will also say there's a shortcut in Facebook that you can do. If you're not, like, if you don't want to build an opt-in page or whatever, you can do a messenger ad and set it up that way. And then they give you your stuff, and then you message, or you send the the opt-in through Messenger. So that all just depends on like, obviously you're tech savvy. So that's,
Yeah, I should be able to do that. If not,
I
I have my team. They can do all that stuff. So I'll just have them create a landing page, and easy enough. Get that in, they opt in, and then make sure they get the quiz or the download. So yeah, and we'll do that through the
And
ads.
then stage 2 is your email sequence that follows that, because the email sequence is just as important as getting their email address. What I know is so many people, I've had clients in the past, when I talk to them, I'm like, so what have you done? Because we work in ads, right? We bring in leads. Sometimes we have clients where we do all of their emails, and sometimes we don't. That's on the client. I'm like, so what have you done to nurture these people? And they're like, well, if they didn't book a call, I haven't done anything. I'm like, you're spending X amount of money on all of these leads and then just letting them kind of die. So you want to make sure that you have an email sequence that follows whatever your lead magnet is, so that you nurture them and keep them engaged, and tell them to do what's next, right? Is that the next step is sign up for a call, or, take your head to your 5-day challenge, or whatever that might be.
Right. Okay. Yep. So could be book or webinar, etc. So yeah, I don't have any real questions at this point. My main thing is like in my head, like, okay, how am I going to execute? What am I going to do? But like I said, I'm just going to repurpose stuff that I already have. Yeah. Plenty of that.
One of my favorite things to do when it comes to repurposing clients, because I don't know about you, but I hate watching myself replays of myself. I hand it off to someone and tell them I'm like, watch this, give me a couple of bits that are the best. Yeah. What hit you like that was the brilliant thing to say?
Yeah, totally. What hit you? Okay, whatever hit you,
right? It's gonna hit somebody else. So
repurpose the stuff so that doesn't take me any additional time. I can get somebody who can cut my stuff up. I have somebody who helps me with that, so that's not an issue. It's mainly so my next thing is, of course, to figure out my budget.
Yeah, absolutely. So budget. Now, realistically, I do a budget breakdown. I've done it before on the podcast and in some of my trainings. When it comes to your marketing, you want to spend about 10 to 30% of your goal budget on marketing. So if your goal is $10,000 a month, I'm using round numbers, simple numbers, because math, then you need to use $1,000 a month. In spend. In marketing overall. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to all be an ad spend, but if you can do it, great. Like I said, awareness ads, $5 a day, plenty. Lead generation ads, the ones that go to your landing page, opt-in, something like that, you're probably looking at $10 to $20 a day. In order to get enough leads coming in to effectively use them. And then for like challenges and that, because there's a short window of time, it's usually 10 to 14 days before whatever that thing that you're running those ads. I usually say to spend at least $1,000 in that short period of time, because you want to have as much coming in as you can in that window. If you can spend more, great. Like if you know you have a budget of $2,000 and you're going to run a webinar every 6 weeks, take 1,000, put it for just that, and take the other 1,000 and spread it out for everything else, right?
Spread it out. When you say spread it out, meaning what?
A month, like use $1,000 a month and then use $1,000 for just that spend.
So 1,000 just for ads and 1,000 for any other marketing?
1,000 for, I would say, if you have overall $2,000 a month, I would say use 1,000 to 1,500 for ad spend, and then 500 to 1,000. It all just depends on what you're doing and how cost effective. What's the ROI on the other marketing? So usually on average, when we're talking ads, whether they're Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, those are what we specialize in. We've done others, but those are the platforms we know the most. Somewhere between $750 and $1,500 is about the sweet spot if you don't have a good size budget, right? If you have, like, if you have $10,000 a month to spend, great, let's make that work and effective for you. But if you don't, I would say $750 is the lowest you can go on ads and still have an effective return on your investment.
Gotcha. And what are you guys seeing? I did do some YouTube ads, but I kept getting a lot of bots. So what are you guys saying when it comes to YouTube?
So YouTube is a great platform if you've got it set up right and if you know where you're tracking. You're gonna hit bots on every platform. Like that's gonna happen. Unfortunately, I don't know why people do this. Like I don't understand human behavior when it comes to this kind of stuff. But it is unfortunate that you are going to hit that on any platform. It really depends on where your people hang out. Like if you have a large YouTube following, like you have a YouTube channel and you have a large following, definitely use YouTube ads.
Okay.
If your ideal client is that executive-ish level where they're not spending a ton of time on social media itself,
right,
generally they will spend time on Google and they'll spend time, and the first thing that pops up in Google is always YouTube. Right.
Yeah.
Like, so YouTube ads can be effective there as well. So it just really depends on where you're.
Most of my people, I find them at least that will book with me or LinkedIn, but I haven't heard good things about LinkedIn ads at all.
LinkedIn ads can be expensive and they can be difficult to dial in. If you have a good email list, like if you have to have, in order to make any kind of lookalike audience on LinkedIn, you have to have at least 300 people, which is different from Facebook. You only have to have 100, right? Okay. So you have to have at least 300 people. If you have a good quality list of buyers at that rate, you can create a great lookalike list on LinkedIn. If not, it's a matter of tweaking that. They're just not, the targeting is just really different than Facebook. I make the joke on Facebook, like you can target people down to their shoe size. That's true, but on LinkedIn it's not. Like it's not the same. That being said, I think LinkedIn ads also work. It's just that here's what Facebook ads, you'll get a lot of lookers. A lot of people will sign up for the free thing and may not take the next step. LinkedIn, you have a lot more buyers, so they may cost more to get onto your list. But they're more likely to purchase on the other side.
That's good. That's good. That was easy to understand. So I think that's a good one. What are you thinking? I heard good things about TikTok ads.
TikTok ads, again, it depends on if your people are hanging out on TikTok. My people aren't hanging out on TikTok, right? Like mine, if Gen X and above aren't really hanging out on TikTok, and that's usually who I attract and who I work with. Millennials and Gen Z, you can find on TikTok. So it all just depends on who your buyer is.
Yeah, I just heard a few people, they were like, no, they're buyers. They're ready to buy and they are ready to consume. I was like, oh, okay. I'm not really on TikTok. Like I should be, I guess. So I don't know. Yeah. So I'm like, I can't vouch for, I don't know. Yeah. I stick to
I've had that same thought. I'm like, I probably should be. And still, I know most of my buyers are on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, and that's where they're primarily
makes sense
at.
Then.
So
yeah, that definitely makes sense. So no, this is helpful. What else are you seeing with regards to your clients right now who are, continuing to flourish? What are they doing in the space with regards to marketing?
So basically the framework I laid out is a lot of what we do for our clients. So that awareness to build an audience, lead gen to build an email list, and then some kind of training to bring in buyers. Like that's a standard flow that we do. Most of our clients that are doing really well have an evergreen portion as well as a live portion. Okay. And so they'll do, like, we've set up funnels before for our clients where, like, they have a download, and then within the email sequence it leads to an evergreen webinar of some kind, and then 6 to 8 weeks later they have a 5-day challenge, and somewhere in there they buy. Some buy off of the evergreen. I had one client, she was like, I have people that go to the 5-day challenge and then they go to the evergreen webinar and then they buy. And then she has those that are vice versa, and some that just do one or the other. But to have that consistency, we found that doing some kind of evergreen within that email sequence, as well as a live thing, depending on the price point of your item, helps, and your audience.
All right, so they do like a live challenge, and also something that there's just like a link that's emailed to them, and that's the evergreen, and that they can watch at any time.
Yeah. And it really just depends on your audience. That's the thing about marketing. Like I can tell you what's worked for our clients, and it may not work for you. Like it's going to depend on your audience, and how they respond to it. But we do find that kind of 3-step process of download to evergreen to something live helps. Especially if the product you're selling is in that like $3,000 to $5,000 or up range. Oftentimes you can sell through a sales page if your item is like $2,500 or under. People will often buy, but if you're in that higher range, you need oftentimes kind of a live touch for them.
Yeah. Then that makes sense. Yeah, I definitely get that. Yeah. So download to maybe something live. And then after they watch live, even give them another opportunity. Like here's something you can watch anytime.
Or vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys have done like download to an evergreen to a live. Yeah. So that all makes sense to me. Yeah. So from there, they've got to know you, like you, trust you. And hopefully at that point, they're
going to buy. Yeah.
Or you just keep them on your email list and continue to nurture them.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing. The one thing we know, the bigger your email list you can grow, the more likely you are to be able to scale. Reality is we sell to 1% to 3% of our audience.
Yeah.
And if 1% to 3%, if 1,000 people is all you have, 1% to 3%, like that's, you start running out of people to sell to.
Yeah. Nope, that makes sense. No, that's all makes sense to me. So now it's just a matter of doing the awareness ads and growing the email list. I think the other part I'm pretty much doing with the download to the live. I don't have the evergreen part of it, so I'll have to just put something in there that's an evergreen. But
I'm sure you have. I've seen all of your stuff come through. I know you.
So I just need to put it on in there where it's something that's evergreen. I don't really do too much of that. I just do the live and then the follow-ups with the sequence. But like you're saying, just to add in something that's evergreen that they can click on anytime, or even start with something that's evergreen, then bring them to the challenge. That all makes sense. Yeah.
And one of the things that I do like to do, I talk to my clients about, is in your signature, below the signature, always put in what the next step is, whether that's, you can do it a PS or a PPS, whatever. But always put in, hey, you want to take your next step, here's a link to my calendar. Or, hey, you want to dive into more content, here's a link to my evergreen. And that way you're kind of soft selling them throughout the entire sequence without like pushing, without a hard, sales push.
That's good. Yeah. Right now I have my Facebook group in the signature, but maybe I'll try something different.
Yeah. I mean, you can leave that. You can do both. You can actually put like PS, join my Facebook group, PPS, here's a webinar where I taught XYZ.
Yeah.
If you're interested, or you can, hop on my calendar through this link, and you can change them up throughout the email sequence.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah. No, I think this is all good info. All good stuff. Yeah, definitely in the right place. You are in the right place, doing the right thing. Very, very helpful.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on today. Yes. I enjoyed this conversation so much. And for those of you out there that are looking to grow your business, increase your revenue, and scale your impact, and you're not sure what to do next, head over to yourmarketingmatchmaker.com and sign up for a free strategy session, and we can do the same thing we did here. Talk to you soon. Thank you for listening to the Marketing Matchmaker podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear your feedback. Please head over to Apple, iTunes, and leave a review so we can hear from you. And if you are a coach, consultant, or online course creator who are looking to grow your business, increase your income, and scale your impact, connect with me at yourmarketingmatchmaker.com. I look forward to hearing from you.